So classes are recorded. Okay. We just see. So typically I don't take attendance because when I record the class, it tells me at what time each person joined. All right. So let's get started. Again, welcome to this Marketing in the Digital World, Marketing 1720. Okay. I recognize quite a few names that you guys are taking some of my other classes. So today is more of an introduction, okay? But also we're gonna pretty much get started because this is a class that is typically taught in 12 or 16 weeks. I've never taught it in, 6 weeks or 8 weeks. So it's very compressed. So we're gonna get started from day one. I have a question, and raise your hand. Raise your hand if you have taken Principles of Marketing, Marketing 1011. Okay. Okay, so I notice 6, so that's less. Okay, so that's about half of you. Okay, you can lower your hand. All right, so clearly we have a very different, very diverse students, because if you have taken Marketing 1011, this course is going to be easier for you because you already are used to using PathStream and so on. If you haven't, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you have to get used to PathStream. So that means that I'm going to go through some of the concepts that are in Marketing 1011. So these are the courses from Miami-Dade that are part of what is called the Facebook certificate. The Facebook Digital Certificate basically has 7 courses. Hold on a second. Has basically 7 courses. Foundations of Marketing. Oh, I guess it copied this thing. Foundations of Marketing Strategy, Marketing Content Strategy, Marketing Analytics, Social Media, Search and Display Marketing, and Email Marketing. So this course is about search and display advertising, okay? Mainly with Google Ads. But what I do is I will talk about throughout the semester about all the others. So it's going to go very much in depth into search and display marketing to the point where you're going to learn how to do search and display marketing, but you will also learn a little bit of everything else. Okay. So like I said, there is 6 courses, that are part of the certificate. So these are the courses from Miami-Dade, and these are the PathStream courses. So PathStream developed a course that has the Facebook certification, just so that you understand, for those of you that don't know what PathStream is. PathStream is the platform that developed, or the company that developed, these 6 courses, which allows to get a digital marketing certificate, which is certified by Facebook. So this is what this is, okay? So let's see, let's go over the syllabus. So, well, actually, let's go to Blackboard for a second so that you know where everything is. Okay, even though I think I put most of this in the welcoming video. So here you have your virtual classroom. Obviously, you know what it is, because otherwise you wouldn't have had been able to join. What's important about the digital classroom is that, for those of you that don't remember from the video, like an hour or 2 after the course is over, when you click here in this menu, and this is important because if one day you cannot come to class or you want to go over the materials, you see there is something that says recordings. right now is empty because this is the first day of class and we haven't obviously finished recording this class, okay? Then here, start here, and let me put it on the student view. This is the instructor view. On the student. So announcements. Announcements are very important because I have the tendency to announce just about anything that I think is important. So be on the lookout for announcements. The syllabus I update it all the time, and we'll talk about what is it that you need to see about the syllabus. It's important. Meet your professor. I'll talk a little bit about my background. Now, what's important is this one, path stream. The path stream content. Now, for some reason, it says week 1. Okay. Could somebody, click on the path stream and tell me if you see what you're seeing in my screen? So in other words, all the sections and all the weeks. So please have somebody click on Pine.
Yes, I see them.
You see all of them? Okay, good. So path stream, you need to, the first time you join path stream, the first time you click path stream, it's like you log in. Julio, can you put yourself on mute, please? So because we can hear all the background noise. So here, basically, you have everything here. And today we're going to go over how to use PathStream. And on Wednesday, we already go to section 1. Okay? If you open any of these, and I'm going to open one of the ones over here because at the beginning is a lot of introductions, you will see that there is, a lesson, a quiz, a discussion board, and an assignment. Okay? You won't see this in week 1, but then like a week 3 or week 4, you'll notice it. All the quizzes, you have to do all the quizzes, and you have to do all the assignments. The discussion boards are optional, okay? So again, quizzes and assignments are mandatory. Discussion boards are optional. So this is what is really important. And we'll see in the syllabus, it clearly shows when each section material is due, okay? Then yes, Adriel?
Professor, if the discussion boards are they still graded if we do them?
No, because if they are optional, I'm not going to grade them. Not only that, the discussion board, other people are not going to be participating. Believe me, you're going to have enough work between the assignments and the quizzes. So the discussion boards are, they're optional, but I really want you to focus. We have a limited amount of time, and for me, the most important thing is that we cover everything. And the most important thing is all the assignments and all the quizzes, because you're basically building like a project with all those assignments. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You also have an ebook. Okay. You're more than welcome to read it, but you don't have to. I will take care of covering from this book what I feel is important and what isn't. And the reason why I'm doing that, okay, is because we don't have a lot of time. So I really want you to focus on, on PathStream. The other thing is this book clearly was used before PathStream was incorporated to the course. So it has more than half of the book is the same stuff that is on PathStream. So you don't have to worry about this book. You can download it. It's a nice book to have, but it covers a lot of stuff that you're going to be covering in PathStream. Okay. So 2 pieces of good news: no discussion boards, and all this stuff, marketing strategy and all that, I teach all the courses in marketing, so I will take care of, presenting all this stuff and the stuff that I think is important. The other thing is the problem with the book is that technology changes so quickly that some of the stuff here is not up to date. So I rather use stuff that is more up to date. Class notes. So sometimes what I do is I post stuff here under class notes. So if I have a presentation or some slides, I may just put it there. We don't have here another folder that is usually exams. Well, right now you don't have to worry about it. So the most important thing again here is everybody needs to, starting today, log in here in PathStream so that you're already using this. All right, so let's go over the syllabus. So this course is a blended course, but 70% of it you're gonna have to do on your own. It's it has all the PathStream, has all the materials. So basically what I do is, I'm not gonna read with you everything that you have of PathStream. What I do is I go over some key concepts, some key theories and concepts. And obviously, if there is something in the assignments that you get stuck, then we'll talk about it. But what I do is I go over the key things, and at the beginning, because some of you are not used to PathStream, I may do more than what I usually do. Okay, so if we go now to the syllabus, well, I already talked about it, the description of the course. We start every Monday and Wednesday at 8 a.m. Okay, so this is a synchronously class. We may finish sometimes before 9:40. Okay, I have the tendency when I teach my classes to go over the limit, but I'm conscious that in this course, because you have so much to do on your own, I don't want to take more time that you can spend doing your PathStream. So a little bit about, we already talked about the textbooks, a little bit about myself. I have a bachelor's from FIU in Marketing International Business, and I have an MBA from Harvard Business School. We're going to use you're going to notice that a lot of the stuff that we use is from Harvard, because I have access to all the teaching materials. My concentration was in finance and entrepreneurship. I'm also a small business owner. I own Relocation Strategies, and I'm on the board of the Harvard Alumni Angels. Angels are angel investors. Okay, so we invest in small companies, tech particularly. Some of you here, I noticed, take my entrepreneurship class. I've also owned restaurants, gas station, convenience stores. Started my career at Procter & Gamble, where I was brand manager for Latin America. Then I went into consulting with PwC. I was the lead manager for the integrated strategy practice, Philadelphia. I did supply chain and strategy when I was a consultant. And I've also held executive positions in startups. And I teach marketing, sales, supply chain, entrepreneurship. And I'm actually developing another course. It's a continuing education course, which is like a mini MBA. It's for small business owners to learn all the disciplines of business, including all the technology that they need for small business owners. So objectives of this course, obviously, learn all the stuff related to search and display advertising. PathStream does an excellent job of taking you step by step to learn this stuff. I also prepare for this course. I go into YouTube and look at all the videos that are available in terms of, Google has its own tutorials and all that, and I can tell you this is so much better. But sometimes we may use stuff from Google. So I like very much all the stuff. I have all the stuff for Google Analytics, and we'll do a little bit of Google Analytics because that's part of the end of this course, but it's also another course that I teach. Okay, so Blackboard, the Blackboard environment, we already went over that. The other thing is that is very important. If you have any questions, you can always send me an email. This applies for if you're stuck in an assignment and don't know what to do, or anything you need, you can just send me an email. For the most part, I answer my emails within 24 hours. So you have to do, well, you'll use in PassStream. Basically, PassStream is worth 50% of the grade because, again, it's an integral part of the course. The whole course is basically PassStream. Late policy is at the instructor discretion. So assignments and exams could be allowed to be late, but with a deduction. So I'm a little bit more flexible on the assignments, okay? But obviously not in the exams. I mean, the exams, it has to be really, really a major problem that you have. And if I allow it to be late, then there'll be a deduction. Usually, if it's a little bit late, there'll be a 10% deduction. One thing that I always encourage my students, and I hope that we don't have to get to that, is that if you fall behind in your assignments, and let's say there was an assignment due 3 weeks ago, and you didn't turn it in, because it's better to get, like a 20% deduction than get a 0. If you get a 0, it messes up your whole grade point average. When we get to the withdrawal date, and I'll show you in a moment, if I see that you have, that you haven't completed almost anything and that you have no passing the course, I'll send you an email and let you know that I'm withdrawing you from the course. This will not be a surprise. I hope I don't have to do that. Academic honesty, well, all this stuff is very standard. Cell phone, well, we're doing remotely, so this doesn't apply too much. It's very important that you have, obviously a computer. Without a computer, you can't take this course. But most importantly, I don't care so much about the camera. I mean, we are probably not going to use the camera at all, but the microphone is very important. So like I told you, I don't like using the chat. If you're having problems with your microphone, you can look, let me show you in case you don't know, you can always use your phone for the audio. So let me see. Sorry. So let me get out of the. So when you go to the virtual classroom, let's say you're having problems with your audio for whatever reason, you have a bad internet connection or something wrong with your microphone. There are several places where you can see the information. So like when I click over here, I don't know, it's probably not going to allow me to join because I'm already in. But when you click here, you have a phone number and a PIN. So that allows for you to call. I'm also adding the guest link. So this is if I want to let somebody from the outside. Okay, let's go back to the syllabus. What else? Okay. Student rights and responsibilities. This is all the standard stuff from Miami-Dade. Okay. Grading. Class participation at 15%. So attendance and class participation obviously is important. PassStream, so everything related to PassStream is 50%. We will have a midterm exam and we will have a final exam, okay? Now, even though I don't put it here, for any of these, if you do an incredible job in any of these, you could get more than 100%, so you could get extra credit. So if you do something exceptional and go way beyond the expectations, I may give you more than 100%. Exams are graded on a curve. So you may get, let's say, a raw score of 80%, but because of the curve, you may be bumped up to 85 or more. So this is the part that may change, which is the calendar. Typically, when I start the class every week, I will point out to where we are and if anything changes. So today we're doing the syllabus review. We're going to go now into section 1 and how to use PathStream. We usually have a case study. So case study, I like to use case studies for class discussions. So sometimes, so like today I noticed that we have in PathStream, some of the examples are on different things. So we may use to Chewy, and this could be for either today or next week. So in some cases, it will be more obvious than others. But case studies is, I think, the best way to learn concepts, because if you know how these concepts are applied for a particular company, then it's easy to understand the concept. Okay. Okay, well, let me go over here. So we have the midterm exam on November 23rd, okay? What you will notice is that on Mondays, typically, what we'll do is the PathStream section. So the way this works is you need to basically have review the PathStream section, okay? So that you're not lost when I explain it in class. But then your assignment for the PathStream section is not due until the next session or the next week. So you notice here, for example, we're doing section 5, section 4 is due. Here we're doing section 4, section 3 is due. So basically, you know, you're getting like a week after we more or less discuss the section for things to be due. Section 2 and section 1 are very, very easy. So that's why those you have a little bit less time. So this week, what we're going to do is the introduction from PathStream. And I decided to jump also to section 2 because section 1 and section 2 are very short. The other thing is, notice that in addition to PathStream, we're going to do other marketing concepts that are either from your book or that I think that are very important. So this stuff right here, okay, again, it's recorded. I will post the slides, so you don't need to take a whole lot of notes. I rather you pay attention and, you know, be engaged in the class discussion than taking notes. I'm not the type of professor who cares about memorization. My books, I mean, my exams are all open book. I care about you understanding the concepts more than anything else, because in the real world, nobody needs to memorize anything. You just, you know, can have your own notes. So I don't care about memorization. Okay, let's see. All right, any questions so far? Yes, Julio?
Yes. Do you prefer, as far as communication, do you prefer the regular Google Mail or the internal communication in the course?
You mean the Miami-Dade email, not Google Mail?
Correct. Yeah, the internal Blackboard communication.
I think it goes both times. Usually I prefer my email, okay? I think the internal communication goes directly to my email. But yes, my email is really the best way.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
So, and that's the way you should communicate with me for almost anything. For example, let's say I graded one of your assignments and there was something maybe that I missed or that you want to understand why I graded it such a way, send me an email, okay? Or if I haven't graded something that you turn in late or you resubmitted, so anything that is out of the ordinary, just, you know, communicate with me via email. And if we need to set up a session to discuss in person, we can do that too. But typically, again, now I have more than 100 students, so I'm not going to remember a particular case unless you send me an email and oh, that's the other thing. You send me an email. Tell me from which class you're asking, because when I get an email, it says the name of the person, but it doesn't say the class. And because I'm teaching 4 classes now, it's better if you tell me, I'm on your entrepreneurship class or your marketing 1720 class. I was wondering X, Y, and Z. All right. So I think that takes care of all the non-content stuff. So, all right. So let's go to my little presentation here. Sometimes it's hard to play videos and share videos. So if for some reason this doesn't work, you may have to watch this video on your own. So this is how to get started in PathStream. I like to go over a few things that are in this video. Let's see if it plays. Give it a moment to load.
There are 2 platforms you will use to complete this course. The first is a Learning Management System, or LMS. This could be Brightspace, Blackboard, Canvas, or similar. You may already be familiar with systems like these from a school you attend or have attended. You will use the LMS to organize your learning experience. Think of it like your online classroom. It's where you can see the week's activities, take quizzes, see your grades, and see messages from your instructor. The second platform is PathStream. Think of this like your online textbook. PathStream contains the material you will learn in this course. This includes lessons and hands-on graded assignments or projects. On your learning management system, you will see various sections or folders. There may be one for each week of the course. Each section or folder includes links to PathStream. When you click the links, you will be taken to PathStream and automatically logged in. Clicking a lesson link will take you to the course overview on PathStream, where you will see which lesson you left off on and jump back in. Clicking PathStream graded assignment links will take you directly to that assignment. Remember, you do not log into PathStream with a username and password. If you ever see PathStream login page, close it, go back to your LMS, and click on one of the PathStream lesson or assignment links. If you have any trouble accessing PathStream, just email help@pathstream.com or use the chat widget in the bottom right on PathStream.
So this is very, very important. You're gonna, more often than not, you're gonna run into some issue with PathStream. If you run into an issue with PathStream, do not contact me. Contact PathStream directly. So it's help@pathstream.com. And the best way to contact them, I'm going to show you in a moment what he means by this. Okay. So if you're in PathStream, this is the professor view, so don't worry. It looks a little different for me than it looks for you. Okay, this is the way it's going to be for you. So when you're in PathStream, you see this little thing here? Whenever you need help, you can click, and it's a chat. I'm going to close it right away. Oh, okay. Sometimes they will answer immediately. Other times you put your name in your email and message, and then they'll get back to you. I guess they have a lot of people usually. Most of the time, so let's say you're stuck here somewhere, right? So you always have this chat available. So this is very, very important. This should be the way that you communicate. If you do not have the chat, because maybe you're not even able to get into PathStream, that's when you do help@pathstream.com. Okay. All right.
There are two platforms you will use to complete this course. The first is a Learning Management System, or LMS. This could be Brightspace, Blackboard, Canvas, or something similar.
So we already saw this video. Did I put it? I guess, okay. The video's twice, I didn't notice it, okay. So let's talk a little bit about some of the key concepts in section 1, okay? So what you have to do starting today is do section 1, and on Wednesday we'll review section 2. Now, when it comes to the assignment, and I'm talking about you know, the projects like this one, project A, B, C, or D, these are different parts of your project. It does not allow you to do project B unless you have completed project A. So, you know, this is something that that happens all the time, that it won't allow you to do the follow project until you do the previous one. So let's talk about some of the concepts in search and display marketing. Well, the first thing in search and display marketing is usually you can tell what is a search ad. A search ad usually has a title like this, and it says ad very clearly, and it may have some brief description and so on. So this right here, the designing of this ad, is one of the main things that you're going to learn. How to do this, how to design this ad. Then you have something else which is called display ads, which are these over here. That's very different than, okay, hold on a second, than an organic. So let me see, let me go to Google for a second. Let's open Google. So this is my Google. I'm gonna put dog treats. Okay. Dog treats, right? This is called, so this is paid advertising. Everything that says an ad is paid advertising, which is the stuff that you're gonna be learning how to design. And then these are the display ads, okay? When you keep going to the bottom, these over here is what is called organic results. So this is not paid. So Chewy didn't pay for this, okay? They did pay, let's see if Chewy has a, they did pay for this one. If I'm a shopper, okay, or a consumer, and I click on this one, okay, they have to pay for that. So this is pay per click. So I'm clicking, it's exactly like it sounds. I'm clicking, and that takes me to, you know, to the place that I wanted to. Now notice something that is very interesting. So Chewy, you know, obviously, I mean, they are the biggest online pet supply and pet food and all that. Remember that I was searching for pet treats. So when I clicked on it, it took me directly to the treats. It didn't take me to toys or to food. It took me directly to the treats. So that means that this ad is really well designed, because, you know, it could have just taken me to Chewy.com, to the first, you know, to the landing site, which has everything. But since I wrote treats, it took me directly to their treats section. Okay. Now, what you will notice is, so you have Chewy, which is the biggest, Petco, which is very big. You may also have some small businesses, like this looks like a small business. So Susie's, even though they probably didn't pay as much money as Petco, came up because it was very relevant. So there is something, and you will learn this as we go along, an auction system on who gets what place here in the ads. It's not necessarily whoever pays the most money. Google cares that even the ads, are very, very relevant. They don't want ads that are not relevant, okay? So for example, let's say there was here something about, I don't know, somebody who sells tropical fish. Well, that's not relevant because I was very specific. I'm interested in dog treats. So if somebody doesn't sell dog treats, it shouldn't appear here in the ads. So this is very important because Google wants even the ads to be relevant, okay? So this is your organic, organic results. So these are not paid. And the ones that clearly say ad are the ones that are paid, okay? Okay, so these are searches, these are paid. So in this course, this is kind of how the course is structured. Really, the content part doesn't start into section 3. Section 1 and 2 are introductory. That's why we're doing those relatively quickly. We're doing 1 today and 2 on Wednesday. At section 3, you can see how here you start learning on how to design, the campaign strategy and ad structure. So that refers to this, okay? This is a part of a campaign. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because you're going to learn all this very soon. Then you go into section 4, which are the keywords that need to be part of your campaign. So when I do the search of dog treats, if you sell dog treats, then you go into the auction and hopefully become one of the ads that gets chosen, okay? Then you have your search ads, okay? Which is, again, this is a campaign is more like the structure. So you haven't really the campaign structure and keywords. Imagine like if you're writing an ad for television or for print. So everything that goes as part of the planning is this and this. The actual ad, okay, the search ad, that's section 5. So in this case, the search ad would be this one. This is an ad, okay? Then section 6 is the display ad. The display ad is this. So this is a display, and this is just a simple ad, okay? Section 7 is the bids and budgets, okay? And then section 8 is the whole optimization, so that you, so the search is that optimized as possible. The other thing is you will learn that Google has its own artificial intelligence, so it kind of learns. But most importantly, what you will see is that with the analytics tools that it gives you, you can see right away which campaigns are working and which ones are not. And the ones that are not working very well, you can change them or you can eliminate them. So the first thing that you're going to do, and again, today I'm going through a lot more of the basics because it's the first day of class and I know that many of you have never used PathStream. But what you're going to do and do that today is create a Google account, okay? I suggest that if you have a Google account that is your like personal email, create another one. Create a new one that is, that is the one that you're going to use for your assignments and for anything that is not personal. It's always better to have an email account for your personal stuff and another email account for the stuff that is not personal. Obviously, I know you have your MDC email, but the MDC email is different. You need to create a new Google account, okay? So that's very easy, just create it. And once you have created it, then you can start, it will ask you eventually so that you can start working on the other stuff, okay? So, so this is section 1. Yeah, we're already into section 2. Let me see. Oh, it's only 8:40, so we may do section 2. Let me see if there is anything else in section 1. that is important. So let's go over here. So when you are in PathStream, you can always click this little symbol over here, and that kind of takes you back to the main menu. Click over here, okay? Now, you're still in section 2. If you want to go to the overview, the one that has everything, you can click over here. So there is 2 ways that you can go to any of these things. You can go from here. So let's go again over here. So here in PathStream, you can go directly. See, you have them. So they've been basically organized by sections. So that way you can go directly to section 5. This is the best way to, when you're looking for like your assignment, because here you can clearly see, if you have a quiz or if you have an assignment, a graded assignment. But you can also go once you are inside the platform. Once you are inside the platform, you can see you have all of the things over here. So section 5 that has this, if I click over here and I go to section 5, all of these have, all the specific contents. So you see you have here the discussion board, which is kind of what I told you that you don't need to do, but then the quiz, okay? So you need to do the quiz. And here you have your project RD. Okay? So when you click, it goes directly here. It's not allowing me to go into project D because I submitted project C. Okay, so here you see in real time what typically happens if, okay. Notice they changed this a little bit. Now they have this instructor view. Before, the instructor view used to be the same as the, okay. So let's see if we cover everything in section 1. How to use PathStream. Getting started with PathStream. So basically you go sequentially. Just open it and start doing everything. Now, one thing that is not so important to do, you can do it, but it's not mandatory. Sometimes it will give you like an article. It'll say, look, if you want to learn more about certain things, so here you have help at PathStream maybe up, and here's your chat. Sometimes, let's see if it's, okay, references over here. Here, links to text versions. No, this is not it. Sometimes it will tell you here is an article on other things. And, again, I'll leave it to your judgment. Sometimes it's a very good article, but sometimes it's not that important. Oh, well, I'm glad that it's showing this. I don't recommend that you do your assignments or anything on an iPad or a tablet, and not even on your phone, no way, because it won't allow you to do certain things. You have to do it with a computer. Okay? So you see here, we're looking how to use PathStream, and it has parts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is what we looked at. Then it talks about the PathStream app. You can download the desktop app. I downloaded it, but I don't think you need to. It opens automatically, but download it just in case. Again, here they're giving you the information of the email. So I'm going into a lot of this today because, again, some of you have never used PathStream. But typically, I don't do this. I spend my time going over marketing concepts and things that are either from PathStream or from your book. I'm doing this today because many of you have never seen PathStream, and I want to make sure that you can get started right away. Okay, so this is about digital marketing. So usually you play a video and then it has all the key concepts. So here, a lot of information on how this was developed, your final project. So you see, your final project is gonna look something similar to this, okay? We work on a final project consisting of 6 parts. A project for this course is search and display ad campaign for the company, handstand. Your project will consist of a slide deck that outlines the marketing strategy and components of the campaign. Examine the following images to get a taste of the type of ads that you will create in this final project. Now, the good thing about PathStream is that each time you do one of these assignments, it's already part of your project. So it's not like you have to wait until the end of the course to do your project. You're doing it alone. So each of the sections is part of the project. So by the time you finish the course, you have your project ready. We will see if we have time for you to present your project. What we may do, which I do in some other of my classes, is because in the real world, not sometimes, you always need to present your project, is you can download Loom, which is a free tool where you can basically share your screen and record like a 5-minute video of your presentation. We may do that right now. I'm not putting it as a requirement because I want you to focus on doing all this. So you see, the first assignment really is to open your Google account. Okay. So this is section. So let's go back to. Okay, so this is section 1. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I could go right now into section 2, but I think what we're going to do today is I want probably today to finish a little early. No, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to go to section 2 because section 1 is nothing. I mean, this is something that you can do in 5 minutes, creating your Google account. So let's go into section 2, okay? So we're going to be ahead of our syllabus, but then, you know, go through all of this between today and Wednesday, because again, this you don't even need to do it anymore. Just create your Google account. So we're going to jump right in to search engine marketing, search engine optimization, okay, and search advertising, SEO, and synergy. So you see, what I'm going to do is you have to do all this stuff. I'm just going to go through some of the key concepts of what is what, okay? And then you need to do all of these activities. So like we talked about before, when you do search marketing, okay, the search engine marketing, oh, that's funny. So the dog treats, I must have it on my unconscious because dog treats was the example I was using because I wanted to use Chewy. So here they put dog treats, right? And over here, these are the paid results and this is the organic results. We already talked about that, okay? So when it comes to search advertising, it's a type of paid marketing that allows the sponsor ad. So this is how you know that it's a sponsor or paid with a link to the company website or page of the user's search engine. So we'll go over this in a moment. What's important is what we did before. It goes directly what you were looking for. If you were looking for treats, it went directly to treats. In this case, this was actually even better because in the ad, it even shows something about treats right here. So search engine optimization is the process of improving the visibility of your website. So this is really what this whole thing is about. I mean, what you want, there is so much stuff on the internet that what you want is that when people are searching for something you sell, that you appear, and if you're paying for advertising, that you appear right away, not on page 5, because on page 5, nobody goes to page 5. And if you're paying, that is one of the relevant ads. I don't know what the maximum is. I thought the maximum was 4. Typically, let me see. I think they changed that. I think it used to be 4, but I've noticed as many as 5 or 6. So here is 3. I think they've changed it a little bit. But you want it to be one of the top ones. And ideally, you want it to be the top one. Because, the chances of them choosing this one or the second one are obviously a lot higher than the 3rd, 4th, or 5th. So this whole concept of finding you is what the search engine optimization process is all about. So you have, the keywords. That's very important. Those are the words that match in a way to what the person wrote search. On page and off page, well, we'll learn a little bit more about that when we get into the design. The traffic, the content, the rankings, site architecture. So this is all the things that are involved into the search engine optimization. So search engine, this is just search engine is Google is a search engine. Bing is a search engine, Yahoo is a search engine, Safari is a search engine. So the most common one is Google, but actually Google was not the most famous one. The original one, when I started using the internet, or one of the original ones was AOL, America Online. And then you had Netscape, and then for a long time, Yahoo was the most popular one. And then Google basically has kind of taken over. It's very important that everything now is mainly moving to mobile. You know this because many of you, when you search for something, you use your phone. And most importantly is changing to interactive voice like Alexa and those kind of things. So what's important is like if you do, try with your phone when you say like Siri or depending on which phone you have, and you search for something, try to see which is the default. I think that in the iPhone, if you set the default to Google, it will search with Google. Okay. Website usability. Well, this is very important for online business. So, what's important is you have online businesses, which obviously the website is super important because that's their only retail outlet. And then you have, so you have brick and mortar, which is your typical store. But now, more and more, all the brick and mortar stores or the traditional stores have an online page. And with the pandemic, it has made it even more and more important. So any store, if they want to survive, they need to be able to sell online. So this has become extremely important because in the past, let's say a store like Nordstrom's or Macy's, something like that, maybe their website was not so important because people basically, I would assume, probably close to 100% would go to the store. But now is as important as the store. Well, the perfect example is Walmart. So, I mean, Walmart is now competing head-to-head with Amazon online, because Walmart couldn't just keep being successful by having only the store. So the online sales has become very, very important. So you have all of these different concepts that you're going to learn a little bit about the structure. You have the title tag, you have the meta description, and you will be basically designing all of this stuff, okay? You don't need to worry too much about coding because this is typically done automatically. But in terms of how this is structured, it's going to depend very much on how you make that design and that structure. So you have external link and inbound links, links that go from one web page to your website. External links are the ones that go from a page on your website to another website. When we do the Google Analytics section, you will see how you get all that information. So in Google Analytics, you have a section that will tell you where did that customer who went to your website, where did they come from? Because a lot of times it's not, the traditional way where you go through Google and then that takes you to, there is many different ways how people can land on your website. So let's look at this. I think this video does a good job of summarizing a lot of what we talked about.
Howdy, Moz fans, and welcome to this special New Year's edition of Whiteboard Friday. I hope you have all had a wonderful holiday season and are about to have a wonderful New Year's. This week, we're going to chat about how you can have a remarkable, amazing SEO strategy in 2017. And the first thing I'm actually going to start with is not the broad spectrum strategic picture, which we talked a little bit here on Whiteboard Friday about, and I'll reference some of those, but is actually understanding some of those big picture search trends. What are the search engines doing? How is that affecting my strategy? How does that mean I should influence and affect my specific tactics for 2017? And so I'll walk through a few of these big ones. There are others, but I think these encapsulate many of the big things we've been seeing. First off, a huge rise in SERP features, meaning that Google is showing many more types of data and types of markup in the search results. We have, I believe, 17 that we record for Keyword Explorer, but there's another 7 or 8 that we do not record, but that we see in between 1% and 2% of queries. So there's just a ton of different features that are going in there. As part of that, we're also seeing a rise in instant answers. This is especially true on mobile, but it's true on desktop as well. Google is trying to answer a lot of the queries themselves, and that can mean they're taking away traffic from you, or it can mean there's opportunity to get into those features or those answers. We're also seeing this trend that started with Hummingbird and now obviously continued with RankBrain around intent, searcher intent being more important than keywords in how we target our content.
So what he's talking about instant answers, remember now, instead of the traditional way like I did, and I went to Google and I wrote dog treats, people basically say, Alexa, I need dog treats. Where can I find the least expensive ones? So it's becoming more and more about answering questions than the traditional query. And then, Alexa is part of Amazon, so Amazon is the one who is going to recommend you to buy it in Amazon. But let's say it's Google Assist, then Google Assist will determine the best way to answer that question.
This does not mean you can remove keywords from the equation. You have to understand what the searcher has typed into the engine before you can serve their intent. And very small variations in keyword structure can mean real changes in searcher intent. That's a critical part of how we craft content for people. The value of comprehensiveness has clearly been on the rise. That's been true for a couple of years, but it definitely is a trend that continued in 2016, and we expect to continue into 2017. You can see a bunch of examples of research in that area, including some from Whiteboard Friday itself. Multi-device speed and user experience, Google's been harping on this for several years now, and I think what we are observing is that speed is not the only user experience element. Google has taken action against overlays and pop-ups. They've taken action clearly that suggests that there's some engagement metrics that are going on there, and that sites that have better user experience and that garner better engagement are doing better in the search results. We've seen a bunch of trends around unreliability of Google data. That includes search volume data. It includes data in AdWords around Google showing you which keywords are in there. It includes inaccuracies in Google Search Console, formerly Webmaster Tools, around rankings. My colleague Russ Jones has just put out a big piece on that, showing essentially that Google says you got this many impressions and this many clicks. That may be totally wrong and false. So be cautious around that. Voice search, clearly on the rise, not yet a huge trend in terms of an addressable market that search marketers can go after, but we've talked a few ways here on Whiteboard Friday and at Moz about how you can think about voice search impacting your results in the future and what types of content you might want to produce to be in front of voice searchers. Machine learning and deep learning, Google has clearly made a shift to that in the last 18 months, and we're seeing it affect the search results in terms of how they're considering links, how they're looking at keyword searches, how they're looking at content. Multi-visit buyer journeys have always been important, but I think we are now seeing the trend where not just search marketers, but marketers of all stripes recognize this, and a lot of us are optimizing for it, which means that the competitive landscape now demands that you optimize for a multi-visit buyer journey.
So I don't know if you noticed when I did my original search, this was very interesting. Let me see. When I was writing, so let me see. I put dog. Okay. Now you see it says dog treats because that's the latest one that I did. But prior to that, it had already suggested dog's diarrhea. The reason why it suggested dog diarrhea is because this company right here, Doggystat, is a startup that we were looking at to invest, and is a medication for dog diarrhea that does not require prescription. So Google remembers kind of what is it that I've been looking for, in the past. So this is very important too, because sometimes when you're looking for something, sometimes when you type the first word, you find the right combination that is more, that tells you exactly kind of what you're looking for. Okay, so this is kind of what he was talking about there.
That you don't just consider a single visit in your conversion path or in your optimization path, and that means for SEOs considering what are all the queries someone might perform as they come to and come back to my site. Bias to brands, that is a continuing trend over the last few years. We're still seeing it, and we're seeing it even more so. I would say we're seeing it even when those brands have not necessarily earned tons of links, which used to be the big dominating factor in the world of, is a brand stronger than a non-brand? A lot of times that was about links. Now it seems that those are decoupled. But that being said, we're kind of feeling an undiminished value of links. If you've built a brand, if you've done a lot of these things successfully, links are certainly how you can stand out in the search results. That's pretty much as true in 2016 and 17 as it was in 2011 and 2012. Only caveat there is that the quality of links matters a lot more. So knowing all those things, I think we can now craft some very smart SEO tactics. We can apply those to the SEO problems. Step 2 is to map your organization's top-level goals to your SEO tactics. And that can look something like this. Here's Zao Corporate, the opposite of Moz, which is hopefully not very corporate. Zao Corporate's big 3 for 2017, right? They want to grow revenue with new enterprise customers. They want to lower their costs to get more profitable. And they want to improve their upsell to existing customers. And so SEO can help with these things by And this is a really smart framework, right? You want to take the things that your organization wants to accomplish at its executive or board level, and you want to show that SEO is actually doing those things, not just that you're trying to rank for keywords or bring more traffic, but that you've mapped your priorities in this way. So I could say SEO can help by identifying searchers that enterprise targets and influencers perform, and then ranking for those. We can lower our costs to get more profitable by reducing the cost per acquisition. We'll drive more traffic with organic search, thus reducing our dependency on advertising and other forms of marketing that costs a lot more, right? Those types of things. Step 3 is to build a keyword to content map. We talked about this here on Whiteboard Friday. I'd urge you to check that out if you haven't already.
Okay, so the ideal situation for most manufacturers, but those are the ones that are usually really big, is that you find them without having to go through the advertisement. Because what happens, like I explained to you before, is, when I type treats, so maybe for Chewy, they're a big enough company that if you click here, they don't care too much. Susie's dog treats. This sounds like like a smaller store, so I'm going to click on this one. Susie's really needs you to buy something to ensure that ad was worth something. Because Chewy, everybody knows, okay, and chances are that if you go to Chewy, you'll end up buying something. If you go, so look at this is very interesting, okay? So something that I noticed right away that is missing. A website, a good website should, well, first it's showing me a treat, which is good, but you notice how this is all over the place? I mean, I should have here on the top, if I want to go and see more treats, it's giving me a little bit of everything, okay? So if I click here, let's see if it gives me treats. Oh, okay, I think I know why. What happened is this store is only for treats, so then it makes sense that they don't have it here on the top. Okay. No, what I was saying is that, like if I go to Chewy, let's go to Chewy so I can show you some things. So look at this. This is very, very interesting. First thing that Chewy is telling me, and this is why your advertising is so important, especially this tagline right here. 30% off today and free shipping. Okay. Oh, by the way, it's interesting. It already showed me another one. So you see, I think what happens is because I was not interested in Susie's, and this is what you jumped out of the website, then it's not giving me Susie's anymore, one of the top ones. But what I wanted to show you, look how well this is, how well designed this is. Immediately it's giving me an incentive to go, okay? It has a 5-star rating, okay, 4.9. But most importantly, this is, I think, what most people care about. Chewy's biggest competitor, of course, is Amazon. So I'm going to tell you right away that you don't need to go to Amazon because not only am I going to give you free shipping, but I'm going to take 30% off today. So that gives me a reason to go to the website today because obviously if it says today, it implies that I won't get it tomorrow. Okay. So what I wanted to show you, okay, it's going to many times try to get me to sign in to their account because ultimately what Chewy wants is that I don't go to Chewy, looking through Google and clicking on the ad, which costs them a lot of money because they have to pay now Google for a pay-per-click. They want you to go to Chewy directly. They don't want you to search. So a lot of times what they're going to do, so first of all, they have this thing here, auto ship, so that, you know, if it's treats, it will automatically send to you treats whenever it thinks that you need more. In order to get the free shipping, I'm sure that it's going to ask you to sign up for an account. Let's see. Okay, now it's just explaining to me what so it's over $49. So see, these are the things sometimes that makes some customers a little bit upset. First you say free shipping, now you're giving conditions for the free shipping, over $49. 24/7 help. So does anybody know why people prefer, so maybe if we have some dog owners or pet owners in the group, why is it that Chewy is so successful if you can buy all of this stuff in Amazon?
I would have to say it's the convenience of it.
But how is the convenience different from Amazon? Okay, so raise your hand. Okay, Julio, how is it different than Amazon?
If you're specifically looking for dog products, this is a focused website. So on Amazon, you basically have to sort through different products and different companies. This is just one-stop shop.
Okay, but if I'm searching, it's interesting that I didn't get, let's see. I have to go directly to Amazon. You didn't? Okay. What else? Does anybody else have so you see, it's interesting. Amazon is paying for an ad. I just find it funny because everybody knows Amazon. They almost don't need an ad, but let's see. So I go to Amazon. Okay. So a couple of things. It's very interesting. So look at Chewy. First thing is they have this whole Halloween theme, right? I don't see any Amazon difference. But there is a big difference that I don't know if anybody else notices. So I don't know, has anybody bought from Chewy before? Yeah, Latoria, why do you buy from Chewy instead of Amazon?
Honestly, it's just the experience, but I doubt that they get involved with the customers, like making it more emotional, because most pet lovers are like sentimental, more emotional, more in tune, not to go against those who don't love pets, but it's like an experience where you feel like, oh, they understand me, they get me, they're going to make sure that I am good even in my pet.
So
And they post it on their website, like on their Facebook and stuff.
right. Okay. So they also the social media. Okay, they have other social media like Facebook. But so I went to a talk on Chewy, and I don't remember the founder. Yeah, one of the founders was there, and his original idea was very interesting. So he liked going to the small pet store near his house because the service was outstanding. The owner knew his name, would ask about how is his dog doing by name. So how is your dog, whatever, Joe is doing, so the owner knows the customers, knows the dog. There's this personalized relationship, and if you come with your dog, a lot of these stores, especially the small ones, you come with your dog and immediately the owner or the manager or whoever works there gives them a treat. So, there is this, that you're paying probably a little bit more than if you go or to PetSmart or if you buy online, but it's a very personalized experience, what Latoria was talking about. So the original idea of Chewy was, okay, we're not going to be the cheapest, but we want to be the online pet store where it feels like you're going to your local store, where you have that personalized service. So something that is extremely important with Chewy is this 24/7 help. Okay? So you have a chat, you can call, and most importantly, right now, let's say my dog is although this is a beautiful picture, right? So this is important in advertising. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. No, what I was going to say is that Amazon, if you have a question, sometimes you don't even know how to call because nobody answers. It's not designed for people that have questions or people are unsure. They are designed for those people who are looking for the cheapest, the quickest, and know exactly what they're buying. Let's say, I want to find out let's say my dog is susceptible to this, it is X breed and all that, and I want to know which treats I should try that are healthier and all this. You call Chewy and you'll have immediately somebody who will help you and knows a lot about pets, okay? You call Amazon. Well, first of all, if you ever get a chance to call them, because I've tried calling them, and sometimes it's impossible to call them. So they don't make it easy. And I think Latoria said the key word, experience. So this is the reason why, Chewy is so successful. And I don't know, that Chewy recently was acquired by, I think, either Petco or Pet Supermarket, one of the two. I think, or PetSmart, Petco, I think, was the one who acquired them. But one of the conditions that Chewy asked is that they can continue being the way they were before. So even though they are owned by, I think it's Petco, they're still very much on their own. They're very independent because the key thing for them is that they want to be able to provide that service. Now, one of the problems with Chewy is that a lot of times, a lot of their customers know exactly what they want. They don't need any help. It's the same dog food all the time. So they go and buy it wherever is the cheapest. If Amazon is the cheapest, especially if you're a Prime member, then you go to Amazon. So this is why Chewy has been under a lot of pressure, and this is why you have things like save 30%, so that with this 30% is probably less expensive than Amazon. 30% on your first auto ship. So this this is what is called a introductory an introductory promotion. Introductory promotions usually try something the first time. It's like a trial promotion. So I want to give it to you at a very low cost so that you try me. And then once you try me, you become loyal. And the way I make you loyal is if you signed up to this auto ship. So there is a lot going on here on this website that, and again, I'm using Chewy as an example today because Chewy obviously is one of the best, if not the best, in doing all this stuff. So let's go back to some of the concepts that we talked about. So it comes up first. Look at the emphasis. The emphasis on 24/7 customer service, free shipping, 30% off today. So this is like a best practice on how to do an ad, right? So here you have you come up first, and you have excellent review, order accuracy 95 to 100%. Now, if somebody sees all of a sudden one of the trees that they like, they may click here. So for example, very interesting how even Walgreens has an ad here. So clearly, when it comes to ads, they're a little bit more flexible because you can have many more, many more ads. Okay, display ads. That's what I meant to say. This is very interesting. So if I click, so you have here Petco, PetSmart. So you see when I go over here to Petco, here is already telling me the 24/7, 30% off today. Here, it just tells me that I can, let's click over here, that I can get that product. Let's say, okay, so they have Life Health, but they don't put 24/7. Look at the difference of when you go to, let's go to the top page in Petco. See. And Petco is I think, well, maybe Chewy already caught up to them, but Petco was the biggest online pet company. But you see what I mean? It's not very inviting. I mean, the other thing is I click on a treat. So clearly I'm looking for treats, and it's showing me a little bit of everything. Customs. So that's why I think that Chewy is an example of like best practice when it comes to everything that we want to learn about. Now, of course, Chewy being such a big company and having so many searches, they're going to appear first. Most likely, this is the great thing about this course. That this course, the stuff that you're going to learn here, you can make money right away because every small business needs this. Okay, so Susie's dog treats. Okay, let's assume this was a store, down the street or whatever. Actually, I can see which ones are closer over here. So you have, okay, PetSmart and Petco, those are really big. Baba Rose Biscuit Company. That sounds like doesn't sound like a store. It sounds almost like oh, it is a store. Okay, it opens at 10. Okay. $11 comments, 5 stars. They open at 10. I don't know why my internet is slow. I'm doing this. I think this store doesn't even have a website. So you see, this is a perfect situation of a potential client for you. Say, look, the good thing is that you appear on Google when somebody searches you. That thing is that the likelihood of them buying something from you online, if you're trying to buy online, is very low because don't have even a website, which is very unusual because now small businesses, all of them have some sort of a website. Okay, I'm trying to find a small business here. Okay, that's Amazon. So you see, these are articles. These are no longer stores. Popular products. Okay, so this is already advertising for particular products. That's interesting. I guess, I'm surprised because there is still a lot of small stores and they all have some sort of a website. Well, anyway, my point is by looking at a lot of the things. So if I had a small pet store, right? You do a lot of the things that Chewy does for a mom and pop store without having to spend a lot of money because you can do advertising. You may not be the first one to come up. Actually, if Google probably prioritizes if it's close to where I live or where I am at this moment because it knows where you are. So it may put up a high priority. So you can help that small business say, look, you don't need to be a huge company to enjoy a lot of the reasons why Chewy is so popular, because you can have a website that is classified already by type of what they're looking for. That's what I was trying to look for a small company that did that. Okay, this looks like a small, no, this is not a small company. It's interesting that every time I go back to Google, it gives me a different order, but Chewy always comes first. Okay, and the other thing is the suggestion. What am I looking for in terms of dog treats? Healthy dog treats, best dog treats. So let's say it's this one, peanut butter dog treats. Just trying to see, that's not, okay, so Chewy comes first. So this right here, Google is trying to find out what is it exactly that you're looking for when it comes to dog treats. And I put peanut butter. So these are all peanut butter, right, from all the different stores. Because you see, the difference is Chewy and Google don't have the same, what do we call it, the same priorities. Google is trying to get exactly what you want. Chewy is trying to get you to buy from them, okay? So that's why Google keeps asking or suggesting things to see exactly what is it that I want, okay? So let me just see this. This is openfarmpet.com. I just find it very surprising that I didn't find any smaller stores. I guess now it's very difficult to have a small store to sell, pet items. Maybe most of them have gone out of business. So this is a very, very different website, right? It goes directly to treats, but it's interesting that it's not organized the same way. Free shipping over $50, okay? So they offer the $10 off on your first order. So very similar strategy to Chewy. Now, I've never heard of this. Open Farm sounds like it's, like organic and it's more natural type of thing than Chewy. Chewy has everything. Okay, so we're getting close to the end. So just to summarize where we are, so today, actually, to be the first day of class, we were able to cover section 1 and the concepts in section 2. So basically, you have to do all the stuff that you need to do for section 1 and section 2. I believe in section 1, all you need to do is open a Google account, but in section 2, you have to do a little bit more. But this is going to be very easy at the beginning, and it's going to be a lot of work very quickly. So that's why I want you to get started early, because when we get into section 3, you already have a project view or part of a project view. So what we'll do is, Yes?
Sorry. Is section 2 due this Wednesday?
Section 2 is due next week. I'm just saying, okay, I'm not gonna change the deadlines because I don't wanna make it, I'm just saying, trying to start getting ahead of yourselves, because once you get into section 3 and section 4, it's gonna get much and much harder. For section 1 and section 2, you don't have to do any project or part of your project. Remember, your project goes in different parts, A, B, C, D, and E. So what I'm saying is get an early start and do section 1 and section 2. And then, because on Wednesday, we're already gonna start covering section 3. And section 3 already has a project. So we'll do section 3 on Wednesday, and we'll see, if I go up some of these things. I'd rather be ahead of the curve in terms of the topics, because I know we're gonna get to a point where it's going to be, difficult to be ahead because you have a lot of work to do. Okay, so any questions before I let you go? So again, this is a class that this is probably the most pragmatic course that I teach. Pragmatic in the sense that what you learn, you're going to be able to use right away. Every business needs this stuff. So this is probably the most hands-on and pragmatic thing, and that's why I'm putting all the emphasis on PathStream, because it gives you right away the pragmatic portion, and I don't want you to spend much time or any time, reading the other textbook. I'll take care of covering all the marketing stuff that is in PathStream. All right. So once again, welcome. And well, I was going to say see you next week, but it's see you on Wednesday. Okay? So if nobody has any more questions, I think we're done for today. So we are, 5 minutes early. Latoria, you have a question?
Yes, I was a little late this morning. Wasn't sure if you took a roll or if you just.
It does, because it's recorded, it takes the attendance automatically. So
okay.
if it's a little late, then I'll just, if it's 5 minutes, it's all right. But more than that, I have to mark it as late.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna stop recording, and if nobody else has any questions, see you on Wednesday.